do we really know how to cope up with this kind of situation where we are scared for ourselves, we are scared for our loved ones, and then comes there where some of the people are losing their jobs, or some of the people are being given the pink slips even in these times, and some of the people have actually gone jobless because of this situation. So there is a huge economic crisis too, which is looming in the heads and minds of the people. So it seems like life is very difficult for most of the members of the society. Now, about the professionals, like those people who are working in the field, those who are working in public still, those who have to work their job, expects them to deal with people still in person, or have to travel, or have to go city to city and do their jobs. They are at a much greater risk, because when you go out and you see in the airport, people are not behaving properly, meaning not wearing masks, not wearing gloves, not wearing any protective measures, and not wearing a so-called, I don't know, sir, people who have to also wear a PPE kit when they travel by air, and if your seat is in the center. Now you come out with all the protective gear, and there is somebody who is sitting just right beside you without caring about the social distancing, who is absolutely not wearing any protective gear and not even observing the social distancing. So things are really, really scary. Now here comes the wisdom of our sages, who long, long ago have taught us, gave us such teachings, gave us some beautiful sutras, and some basic fundamental understanding about our own self. When you don't know who you are, and when you don't know what your true identity is, and when you don't know what life is meant, and on the top, when you think that this is the only one life which you have because there was nothing before and there won't be anything after, so just 70 or maybe 60 or maybe 80, if we go very liberal, there's just 80 years of life which you have in your hand. And if you don't get some other diseases or accident or death by accident happening. So in a way, short form, I would say life is too short. And actually nobody is addressing this issue, that what about life? How did it happen? Why did it happen? And there are some who will just brush it off. Oh, that's not our concern. And then there are some who would just read some theories or philosophize about it and yet not go very deeper into it. We are so scared of addressing this issue that in a way we are so much distracted with the external work sometime, and then we are not thinking about on the correct lines about knowing who I am, what is my mind, how does it function, what does my mind really want. And then there is society, and there are people around us and who are shaping up what you should want, what you should desire, what should be your life goals. And these days, the life coaches are pretty popular, and people pay money to listen to them and learn how to live our life. Now, it's your life, my dear, so you should know how to live your life. And why do we need well, I have nothing against life coaches, but I would still say that when we have the beautiful scriptures of, say, Bhagavad Gita or Kathopanishad in our hand, or Shvetashwar Upanishad in our hand, when we have beautiful teachings of these great rishis and sages, which are addressing the core questions about, for example, why do we have fear in our mind? I'm not talking about what fears you have. I am talking about a very basic question. Why do we have fears in our mind? Now, when we don't know what the right answer is, and when we don't know what the truth of this mind is, let me say, what is the form of the mind? 1. 2, what is the mechanisms of the mind? 3, what is content of the mind? 4, what can we do to manage this mind? Although people are so worried about managing their funds and finances and jobs and relations, and wives want to manage the husband and husband wants to manage their wives and parents want to manage their children, but nobody is talking about how to manage your own mind. If your mind is filled with fear, fear of unknown, fear of sickness, fear of death, fear of, this is a huge load on the head of the mind. And if we could actually understand that ajnana, as we say in Sanskrit, or ignorance or not knowing, is the basic cause of all the fears. If I have the answer, I'm not saying theoretically, I'm saying very realistically and experientially, if I know what is mind, if I know what mind will be actually happy, I'll give you a situation. I would like you to think on those lines. For example, if I say, which is the most happiest moment of your life? Marriage, dating, mating, food, drinks, going out, visiting Europe, Disneyland, whatnot. You can have hundreds and thousands of answers when I say which was your happiest moment. But I'll just say one situation. I'll pick just one situation, that you are in Switzerland with your darling, with beautiful Alps and beautiful streams and wonderful chocolates and coffees and food and nice scenarios, and everything is there. For how many hours can you see that beauty? For how many hours can you eat in continuity? For how many hours you can have physical intimacy with your spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever? After doing all the stuff which I have already mentioned, person wants to hit to the bed. Not literally hitting the head on the bed, but meaning just want to sleep. And in the sleep, what do? You switch off your lights. You don't want to see anything now. You don't want to hear anything now. You don't want to eat anything or taste anything or touch anything. And you close your eyes, and in a way you close all your senses. And you cut off yourself from the whole wild, beautiful, ecstatic, enthralling world. And you go into that darkness called sleep. Now, in sleep, if you have a light sleep, you are still fidgeting about, how to go more deep and have a good sleep. Now, what is good sleep? When there is no dream and when sleep is not light. And in that deep sleep, now there is nothing worldly over there. It's just you, and it's just the darkness of this sleep, and you are just resting. And this rest is so rejuvenating. It kind of refurbishes you. It gives you all the energy. Your body cells are working and fixing up itself. If you have a disease or exhaustion or a little bit wear and tear of the muscle or whatever it is, so your body is recuperating, your body is resting, and your mind is so calm and happy and patiently happy with its own self. There is no one else. Other person is not there, not food, not a sight, not a smell, not a fragrance, not a touch. Nothing is there. And still, in this deep sleep, your mind is resting so well that it is a hell of a job in the morning to leave the bed and go out and then again have this fight. Fight to fix up lunches and breakfast, fight to reach to office in time, fight to talk to your clients, fight to earn money, fight to solve the relationship issues, fight to make your boss happy, fight to have your targets fulfilled. Now, if I put two things, in comparison, and if I ask you what really makes you happy, what food or intimacy or good sight, smell, sound will do is titillate your sense for some time. It's great. I'm not denying that there is no joy there. Yes, it is. But Where is the real soothing, deep calmness? And that is in your deep sleep. Now, the point is, you cannot deprive yourself of sleep, because if you do, then your body will have a huge surge of hormone called cortisol. And if you're always on this overdrive and over-ambitious, pleasing others or running others like puppets, and if you are a boss, then surely, I always say, the bosses are the most deserving people to whom a subordinate should have sympathy or compassion. Because that poor chap is running the whole show, and in doing that is going through such a stress and so much of cortisol and hypertension and maybe diabetes happening to this person, and this person is managing the family and the company and everything, and sometimes loses the sleep, and here comes the hypertension and diabetes and other lifestyle diseases which, one after another can really victimize the person. So in a way, my point is that if we could teach all the people, right beginning from the school, that you don't need 10 houses and 20 cars, one girlfriend and one wife. One time a man said this to me, that he was not yet married, and he said that I'll be really happy if I have a beautiful girlfriend and a beautiful wife at home also. This will make me really, really happy. Well, that's the polygamous mind of the, men sometimes. Not all men, excuse me, not all men. The more the better, the more the better. So all this idea of hoarding things and people and friends and money, and in this whole, I wouldn't say rat race, it's a human race. Please don't blame poor rats. They are very wise people. They don't do this kind of races. It is the humans who are doing this kind of races. So when you are in this race, you lose your balance, and your whole life is too outgoing, too externalized. Hence, too much of pain, too much of misery, too much of anxiety, too much of depression, too much of loneliness. Because when you are fighting with everybody in continuity, you can't have a restful sleep, and you can't have a very good digestive system. And if you are on your tenterhooks all the time, if you are always I would like to use a term, that is, if you're always in a hurry, and you always worry, and you always eat hot curry, you cannot have good life. So you have to let go of the worry, the hurry, and the curry. And that's where you actually begin to focus on who you are and what you want and what you actually, what makes you really happy. I was just talking to an executive, and that is that everybody hopes to have a luxurious car. There is nothing wrong in that. You can own one day such a luxury car, but still, I put an hypothetical situation in front of you. One is that you are sitting in a Rolls-Royce car driven by a chauffeur. And the second is, you with your children and friends are rolling on the grass. What will make you really happy? You're playing on the grass. You're rolling on the grass, you are happy, or you're sitting alone with your snobbish nose, with your chauffeur, and showing it off to others, but inside you are just a lonely guy. So to be happy, you don't need a Rolls Royce. What you need is just roll on the grass. Or maybe swim in the river. And if you don't have an access to a river, then maybe, fill your tub at home. If you don't have a tub at home, doesn't matter. You can just stand under a shower, close your eyes and visualize, I am under a beautiful Himalayan waterfall. If my thinking and visualization, meaning dreaming and desiring about worldly stuff, can make me feel inadequate and unhappy, so if I use a good visualization, And I use whatever I have around me as a prop to create a beautiful situation in my head, in my mind, what can stop you from being happy? But when we are too dependent on the external people or objects or targets or promotions or that corner beautiful office, where I can see outside. Yeah, it's a office which is a perk given to a senior rank officer. So when you are hoping for that, just know it that yes, one day you can sit there, but all that hours of gasping and being jealous and want to be there and can't be there and thinking, and it's just ruining your beautiful life. Life is to be lived, work is to be done. Sure. When there is no work, how will you earn? And to survive, we do need to earn. We do need to earn money to have our bellies filled and have a roof on our head. But after that, what? What will make me happy? So if I'm working totally, focused on the outside world and not giving a space to my own self, not giving a space to understand the working and the formatting of my own mind,